What's up guys, it's Dimitri here from LearnMate Tutoring, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a letter that came in my mail last week regarding the increase in prices for energy for my apartment. Now this letter, which I've got here actually, I've posted it, I've also analysed it in an article which the link can be found below this video, so have a read through that if there's anything that doesn't make sense that I'm talking about the video, because obviously I have limited time in the video. So have a read through that article, everything is explained there. Now, in particular, I'd like you to understand that anytime money is involved with any company, price increases, things like that, the company is often very careful in the language that they use to ensure that the customer doesn't feel as though this price increase is not acceptable. So what they're often going to do is many of these companies, when they do increase prices for, like, say, electricity, phone bills, things like that, they're often going to use what is known as public language. Now, public language has recently been added to the Study Design's meta-language list. It's actually under the other meta-language category. And public language, a lot of students have been asking, what does public language actually mean? Well, according to Don Watson, he actually published a book which can be found on Amazon. Public language is basically language that is formal, that is used in business contexts, governments, military. It's language that is manipulative, often language of power and influence, and language that is often not substantial in nature. And what I mean by that is it's often very hard to decipher. So if we actually take it into the context of this letter that was sent to me regarding the price increases, you'll notice that it says, as is industry practice for all energy retailers, we have reviewed the prices for the 2016 calendar year. So let's focus on the phrase industry practice. So what does that actually mean? What is the industry? Is the industry an animate thing? So it's actually not. The industry in itself is very ambiguous. It's like the market. The market demands that prices are well, what does that actually mean? So that's public language, and as consumers that aren't educated in English language or linguistics, it's often very easy to just kind of read over it and not give a second thought to it. But obviously, as you guys studying English language, it's incredibly beneficial to go through this particular piece, which, as I said, you can find in the article, and identify all the examples of public language. So I can give you another one here that I found, environmental charges. So to put it into context, it said electricity prices are set by your distributor, City Power, and are made up of a range of components such as network, metering, transmission, and environmental charges. Now, those words, network, metering, transmission, and environmental charges, we have a general idea of what that means, but let's focus on the lexical phrase environmental charges. What does that actually mean? How are we saving the environment? What does the environment actually mean in this context? Does that mean we're preventing the emission of certain greenhouse gases? It really doesn't make any sense. So another example is through absorbing as much of these costs as possible, the only change will be to the supply component of your bill. Now let's focus on the first part of the sentence. Through absorbing as much of these costs as possible. What does absorb mean? Does absorb mean that the company is just not paying for it? It's, again, very ambiguous, and it's language that, again, we just read over and accept it as consumers. And lastly, I noticed that there is the use of nominalization, which is very common. So I noticed that they didn't actually say, we have put prices up. They actually said the slight increase. So the increase is a nominalization. To increase becomes the increase. So by converting it from a verb to a noun, it allows OC Energy to actually deflect blame from themselves. It allows them to distance themselves and distance themselves from the increase, because when you have a verb, it must generally be accompanied by the noun equivalent. The subject, sorry. So therefore, in this case here, the slight increase by who? We don't actually know. So again, it further deflects blame from themselves. So that's pretty much it, guys. There's a lot of other things you can talk about in here, but just in terms of public language today, that's what I really wanted to talk about. I'd recommend writing an analysis on this, so an analytical commentary, if that's what you call it. And I'd recommend doing that as practice for your SAC and also your exam. Thanks, guys.